two guests with us in the studio this evening, Alan Whaley and Stefan Hart. Alan's the CEO, Stefan's the Deputy CEO from Reform and Whaley on tonight.
Industry Insider.
They're both here. Alan, let me come back to you to start with. During the break there, talking about talent acquisition, training. We're essentially going to harp on mindset here because I'd never thought of it in this much depth. It's one of the things that you do at Reform and Whaley, but there are two mindsets, Stefan informed me during the break. There is the fixed mindset, which is, I guess, hard to change, isn't it? That this is the way I think, I'm right, and I've lived my life like this, and you must have to fight that. But there's also the growth mindset. Just distinguish, if you would, between the two.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the fixed mindset is you have a certain belief system and you stick to that belief system. Now, the other one is you are ready to look at further. You have the power of anticipation once you've got that. One of the examples I give you is Kodak. Kodak, they had a fixed mindset. You know, some of their engineers, they came to them and they said, look, the digital camera is the way forward and is the future. It was dismissed, and these guys got reprimanded because they were wasting company time. 3-4 years later, Kodak went, into bankruptcy, and because they didn't have that growth mindset. The corporate history is littered with examples like this. And once you are into the growth, then you can't change your belief system. Your belief system is your belief system. What you can change is your state of mind, your psyche, or your emotional feeling, your mental status. Once that is open to suggestions, when that is open for anticipation, you change from being reactive into proactive. And you can actually set, not only do you stop the growth, but you can actually change the rules. You can lead the market with what you are doing.
When you say you can't change your belief system, we all have belief systems and they vary, and it's something that I suppose the younger you get a child, the more they're going to believe any one certain thing. But surely you can, I mean, this is part of your one of the courses that you offer, isn't it? Changing not so much the way people think, not so much their attitudes, but mental aptitude. And I brought this up during the break for a very specific reason, that this is the way people accept certain things. But how do you do that? How do you get across to people that the way they're thinking is hampering in terms of a company, the efforts the company is making, bottom line wise? How do you get that through to employees or to managers?
Okay, what you do is actually you cannot influence somebody unless you know what influences them. Now, right. Genuinely, people are either influenced or motivated by two things, and under those two things there are other bits and pieces. And they are influenced or they are motivated by either the wallet or the soul. And that varies. When we say the soul, somebody could be, well, look, it's my growth. I want to grow within this company. Somebody's saying, well, no, I just want recognition. Somebody's saying, well, I just want acceptance from my boss. Under the wallet, it could be something different. I just want the job security. As long as I get my wages, I'll do just enough so I don't get sacked. Some of them will say, well, actually, no, I want to grow and I want to be part of the bigger organization, and I want this certain, goals that I want to achieve. So unless you know what influences people, you cannot change them, and you cannot change, their habits and their rituals that we all, that is part of the results. Many of the companies, what they concentrate on is the results. The results are the result. They are the side effects of the behavior before we get into the results.
Say if someone is motivated by the wallet, how do you go in there and change that mindset, or do you need to change it? Is it okay for an employee to be motivated by end of every month, you get your salary, you're financially stable, but still add something positive to the company, have that positive mindset?
Yeah, absolutely, because it's all about trade-offs. If, let's say, somebody motivated by growth, but that growth is primarily, it's about the wallet, okay? Well, you can change the structure in terms of their deliverables. You can change their targets. You can change their inputs into all of that, and then all of a sudden you're starting to change the whole culture of the organization. That it's much more into growth rather than a stalemate.
Let's look at a specific example. Stefan, you go into an organization and the brief is, I suppose, look, we're struggling at the moment. This is a difficult economic time, for example. Right now, the market is tough. A lot of companies, I'm sure, are telling you that. What do you do when you go in to change mindsets? What's the first thing you do when you walk through the doors and the employees see you coming to make things better?
Well, apart from running for the doors, I think from our point of view, we get a really good understanding of where the company actually thinks they are. So once we actually have an understanding of where they are, we can then look at where we think they should be. Yeah.
Okay.
So we will go in, we will take the senior management first, and then work from the top down. Yeah. So we've got to understand what drives the senior management as well. So if you look at the sort of 6 human needs that affect everyone, that everyone has, safety and security, variety, significance, connection, love, growth and contribution. The motivations for people are different. And Alan was talking about the wallet.
Yeah.
You may be motivated by the wallet, but there may be some underlying factors there of exactly what motivates these people. So we've got to get a really good understanding of exactly where they are, where they think they should be, and how we can help them do that. And as Alan says, it's a lot about the attitude. Strip it back, forget the skills training at the moment, look at the attitude, look at where they are, look at where their people are, look how engaged they are at the moment. And part of what we do is very much looking at the engagement value of the people that work within those companies.
Okay, so this is about getting the best out of people, isn't it? And making sure that the thought process is there. But what about, Alan, when you walk into a company and they say to you, look, this is just the way it is at the moment, these are tough market conditions, it's the market, we're not doing anything wrong, we don't need to change. And it's clear to you, for example, walking in there, that there is a need for change.
Yeah, I mean, one of the first things we ask them is, what business are you in? What business are you really in? I'll give you an example. We work within the automotive industry, and one particular organization, we said, what business are you in? Well, they said, clearly we're in the car business. We buy for X, we sell for Y, and we make money, and then we make money in the after sales. The other one that we went in and said, what business are you in? They said, we are in the business of getting customers and turning them into advocates or ambassadors. And we want to keep them for life. Now, you could see the mindset of the leadership in those two organizations is completely different. Well, then we drill into it, okay, well, what season that your business is in? Is it in the summer season, whereby, things are really hotting up? Is it in the autumn, whereby you're closing the hatches? Is it in the spring, whereby you're into growth mode? Then we ask them is, do you think people are your greatest asset? And everybody says yes, and we train them and all that kind of stuff. And this is where the mindset needs to change, because people are not your greatest asset. They could be your worst asset. It's good people that are your greatest asset. So that's when we start this journey of them discovering where they are. And this journey, once we do that, then they identify the right resources. Because any leader, being a leader is about being resourceful, and it's about making the right decisions and solving problems.
You say that you can't motivate anyone unless you know what motivates them first, right? So everyone is different. Tim and I could be motivated by completely different things, and then we are, and then we've got 20 colleagues just on in our room motivated by different things. You're saying you should probably tailor things to that specific employee to motivate that person, new targets, etc., whether they're financially based or not, whether they're goal-oriented targets. How do you do that realistically when you've got you've got that couple of hundred employees? How do you tailor make all of that to each employee to make sure they're motivated?
Okay, this is the thing whereby they need to buy into the vision of their company. Once you tell employees, we need to concentrate on the business that we're in today, that will give you the security of keeping your job. For continuity, we need to work towards the business that we want to be. But let me give you an example whereby once you change it from activities to results, if I said to you or to somebody said, look, do you need to go to the gym? Everybody says, yes, we need to go to the gym. And then you ask them, well, why do you not go? And they say, well, look, I don't have I'm not a member of a particular club. I'm going to Google. I'm going to go and find Google Maps. Then I'm going to park. Then I'm going to go through this membership. They're going to trying to sell me 2,000 years of membership. Then I'm going to have to change my clothes, wipe off the sweat of all these, people who've been there before. Then I'm going to have to shower, especially for ladies. Then I'm going to have to put my clothes on, and I'm going to go and pick up the kids, and all that kind of stuff.
Can I stop you there for a second? That's a fixed mindset, isn't it?
That's I don't want to say anything out of the
I think it's far too familiar, actually. Tim.
Yeah, probably.
But then if we said, well, how about if we go for a meal? Yeah, okay, Chinese or Indian or Italian or whatever the case may be. But if the results was, look, I need to lose 20 kgs by end of this year. That's the change in the mindset. You don't start to think about, God, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to do the other. Then simply, okay, well, if I need to lose 20 kgs, I just need to go to the gym.
So it comes from within. All you're doing is bringing it out, essentially.
Absolutely. So unless I know what influences you, and if that, and you are influenced by losing 10 kilograms or by looking better or by, being fitter, or you've got a wedding to go to in December and you really want to look good, then for me, I can sit and preach and say to you, look, going to the gym is great and you need to do this and cardiovascular and all that. All it is, it's an effort. Your mindset it processes that as effort. If I say to you, okay, well, look, how badly do you want to lose that kg and to look absolutely fabulous by December? Well, I really want to do that. Okay, well, let's put a plan and go to the gym. Fine.
Is that what you did with your business? Because you came here, Alan, a year ago?
This business started...
You've grown crazy numbers.
Yeah. We've grown crazy numbers. Just over a year ago, Sam, who is my partner, and I, we were sitting there having a cup of coffee, and we discussed this. At exactly the 30th of June, we've been going for about a year, and we have grown just over 1,000%, just by practicing what we preach. And we are an open book. If anybody wants to inspect us, to come and visit our offices, or to have a look at this, we're more than happy to do that.
How would we influence you and your mindset? Is it possible, or are you just a flowing river of different mindsets? How does it work with you?
No, absolutely. I get influence, from different mindset, which sometimes we learn from our own clients.
Right.
But the main thing for us, our mindset is, it's not about us, it's about the client. It genuinely is about the client, and it's about us adding value, and how do we help them to come through that journey that is with us.
One last question for you, Stefan. Maybe you could shed some light on this. Say if you go into a company today and you start changing mindsets, or you would like to do that, and then you come back in 6 months' time. How do you measure that? How do you say, okay, this is what's been changed?
Well, part of our the way in which we do things is engagement. Yeah, so the attitude, the changing of attitudes, and a better workplace, better attitudes, better performance, and everything. Because if your attitude is better and you're performing better, then you're going to be more engaged going forward. So we go back in 6 months' time, for argument's sake, and then we'll do like what we did before. Yeah, we'll follow that up, because there's no point in administering something like this and not following it up. It's like in any sort of training. Take training aside. If you don't follow it up, people just go back into what they used to been doing. Yeah. So the follow-up that we use within the mindset methodology is actually very key to the actual succession of it going forward. So we'll look after them at 6 months' time. We'll do an engagement exercise again, and then we'll actually go through what they have learnt, what the attitudes are like, maybe the staff and the senior people, because it all starts from the top. Yeah. So we look at how it's been implemented, and basically the engagement side is key for actually this methodology going forward.
So this is an empowerment tool. More and more of the Fortune 500, the biggest companies, you could argue, on earth, are starting to look at using things like this. The Googles, the Audis, there's a big long list of people here, and it's something that we're starting to see here in the UAE. How much is this catching on? How much are people looking at the way we think and the way that we structure our day, our mindset?
One of the things that we did is, one size doesn't fit all. So we spent a lot of time understanding the culture, the clients, the methodology. So we spent a lot of time researching just for this region, and we altered it, for this particular region. So the mindset that we offer is somewhat different than what is being offered in America and Europe. It's tailor-made for this part of the region, but then we further bespoke it for every company and every client that we go to. Our success is we've never ever offered it to any of our clients and they said no. Everyone we've offered it to, they said yes, and we're starting to work on it.
Well, let's get some examples of that. We're out of time now, unfortunately, but we'll have to get you in on another program at some point in the not too distant future with a look at when you go in somewhere and then maybe 6 months down the line or a year down the line to see the difference in the way people approach the workplace. Would you do that? Would you come back and share results with us at some point?
Absolutely look forward to it.
That would be great to do. Okay. That's Alan Whaley. He's the CEO at Reform & Whaley. Stefan Hart's the Deputy CEO. Industry Insider tonight. Talent acquisition, training. They do lots of different things, but mindset is exactly what we were talking about. Gentlemen, thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much. Thank you
very much.
We want to hear from you. Find us on Facebook. Tweet at Dubai Eye 1038 FM.
It is Drive Live. Couple of minutes left. Let's very quickly talk to Wolfie at Wolfie's Bike Shop. Wolfie, you know what? I think we should probably have a slightly more regular segment with you rather than just when it's Tour de France time. What do you think?
Absolutely. Yeah, cycling is so popular now in the Middle East, and a lot of people are participating in the sport, and I think they would be very happy to learn a bit more, and there's so many races going on around the world, so yes, I'm all up for it.
I think we should have a weekly, I don't know, we could call it the Lycra segment or something like that. What do you think?
I'm sure we get a lot of people just listening in to see what it's all about. Yeah?
Look, it's Tour de France time. Nice to have you on. I know stage 1 is stage 2 today. Stage 1 was Mark Cavendish yesterday. He had the yellow jersey. Just bring us up to speed, Wolfie. What's been happening today?
15 kilometers to go. We have another flat stage. It's in the north of France. A bit of rain today, which is not really nice for the riders to be there all day in their wet clothes, and it makes the roads a bit slippery. But they have about 15 kilometers to go. Today we have a little bit of different finish than yesterday. Yesterday was purely flat. And today we have about a 4-kilometer climb at the end with about 14% gradient at the highest point. And today we're going to see some sprinters, but sprinters of a different form. So more kind of the lighter guy and the guy who can maybe hold his sprint for a little bit longer. So I think not a good day for Marcel Kittel today, but we see other riders today. But it was a great win for Mark yesterday. Mark Cavendish had a fantastic sprint, and you could really see all his experience. He won altogether now 27 stages. He is one of the most successful stage winners. I think there's only 2 other riders in front of him. So a fantastic day for him. And the first time in yellow jersey, I'm very happy for him.
Wolfie, just how important is it for a biker to win a stage?
I think this is one of the biggest things in a cyclist's life. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of people coming to that Tour de France, and they know from day one that they're going to pick a certain day where they're trying to get in this escape group and then try to win the stage. So it's sometimes a bit confusing, I think, for people watching the Tour. There's so many different races happening in that one colorful peloton. So people racing for the stage win, people racing for the yellow jersey, people racing for the green jersey, for the polka dot, for the white jersey. So it's kind of interesting. But to win a stage is an unbelievable. And you can see sometimes how emotional riders get when they win a stage. And then obviously winning the stage like Mark yesterday, and then putting on this yellow jersey, that's an amazing thing. I think a lot of people don't really know much about cycling, but if you speak about cycling, and I think, is there anything you know about cycling, then you know about the yellow jersey.
Oh, this is true, isn't it? It is. I mean, that yellow jersey is famed across the world, but I guess what a lot of people don't realise is it really is a team sport. Mark Cavendish riding for Dimension Data this year, but it is all about the team, although it seems to be, from what we read and we hear and we talk about the individual in the yellow jersey, it seems to be about the individuals, but that's not the case.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. And you could see yesterday nice pictures as well. The first thing what all the sprinters are doing is going back to their teammates who lead them out to help them really to get in position. And you can see this at the end of the stage that they're lining up like pearls on a string. You can see all the same color jerseys, so they help each other. It's about 70 to 90% of your energy you are expending overcoming wind resistance. And if you can ride behind another rider, it can save you 30, 40% of your energy. Yesterday we had top speeds over 70 kilometers an hour, and that's just tremendous if you have a good rider who brings you in a good position. And people like Mark Cavendish and Marcel Kittel have a clear, structured lead-out train, they call it, and then they ride behind the rider, 200-300 meters to go, and blindly trust this person. And then once they see the position is right, they launched off like a rocket into that final 100-200 meters. And they need these riders. And the first thing they do is congratulate. And yesterday you saw it went very nicely that the person, he was maybe like, say, 15, 16, was celebrating like he won the stage, but he was a teammate of Mark Cavendish who had the feeling, he knew that Mark was first over the line. And that's as a success for him as for Mark.
It's an amazing thing. Can you imagine that? She's 70 kilometres an hour on a bike.
Yeah, it's incredible. And then the 4 kilometres at the end going uphill. Ouch. That's all I can think at this moment.
Wolfie, final thoughts for this year's tour. It's 3 weeks of, well, for the riders, it's arduous. That's an understatement. But I'm not going to ask you to make a prediction. I know that's almost impossible at this stage. But looking forward to another event. Who's going to stand out, though?
I hope that Marcel Kittel will stand out in the first week so that we have some good riders there. I hope as well that John Degenkolb, he was injured in an accident early this year, so he lost his early season was damaged by that. And so I hope he has some good days. And I think we're going to see a very open and very exciting tour because we have a lot of people who are really in the contention of winning the race. And so we're going to see a big fight about yellow jersey. And it's going to hopefully be an exciting race. And I think we're going to see, again, fantastic. I love the pictures we see from France with the cameras going all over the nation and then seeing all the beauty of the mountains and stuff. It's just amazing to see the country like that. So I'm looking forward to 3 weeks in interesting racing.
I think we will. Wolfie is from Wolfie's Bike Shop. He is our man on the Tour de France scene. I guess you're going to be on Sports Tonight a little bit later on, Wolfie. For now, do appreciate it. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Thank you.
It's just around about 7 o'clock. Sports Tonight next. Mark Archer, Chris McCarty on the way. That's pretty much Drive Live for today. I didn't do my iPad facts. I was going to, but we'll
have
get them
to
tomorrow.
save them. Yeah, okay, we'll hear them tomorrow. And we'll catch you guys from 4 tomorrow. We're going to be talking property.